One of our only good wingers, bro, got injured. Estêvão's been injured. Yeah, listen, very devastating news, but not much to say, bro. This season just keeps getting worse and worse and worse, bro. Just end the season. That's what I've been saying. Just end the season. But yeah, Estêvão, found that news out yesterday. Estêvão's done his hamstring. We'll get into more news and everything, but before I do that, make sure you like the video. Yeah, let's keep 100% like ratio. Do you know what I'm saying? Hit the like button. That can do me do a YouTuber like me a lot of good. If you can, please hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Leave a comment below about the situation. You know what I'm saying? We can all have a little discussion in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this news. Should he come back early? Should he go to the World Cup or not? I know some of these things sound like they're common sense, but we'll have a discussion. Everyone has different opinions, so let's see what everyone says in the chat. But in the meantime, like I said, like the video, leave a comment, all that kind of stuff. Subscribe to the channel. But let's get into it. Estêvão held his hamstring the other day, and you knew it was bad news. Do you know what I'm saying? Against Manchester United, he was one of our only outlets, if you want to call it that. And all of a sudden, he goes for a little run, pulls his hamstring, goes down and gets taken off. Then we didn't really hear anything until yesterday. While everyone's waiting for the Rafinha news, we all of a sudden got Estêvão news instead. And let me show you that right now. Estêvão likely to miss the rest of the season with a hamstring injury, as the Athletic called a sad blow for the teenager after an impressive first season at the club. I'm not gonna lie, it weren't impressive. It was probably good is the right word to use. Not necessarily impressive. I think we kind of expected a little bit more. We thought he would, after the Barcelona game, he would, take leaps and bounds, like some people call it. But yeah, he hasn't necessarily played a lot. He got injured and whatever. But here we go. His World Cup participation is in some doubt, but as told, Estêvão is targeting a return to grass within 30 days. Remains to be seen whether he's fit again in time for the tournament, though. So, for me, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't want to see Estêvão come back anytime soon. To rest. He's played so many games at Palmeiras, then straight after that played the Club World Cup, and then he went straight into the season as well. He's only 18 years old. Then he continued, I think, later yesterday, giving a bit more context to the situation, because some people said he's going to be out more than that. Some people are saying 30 days. Some people are saying a couple of months, 6 months, 5 months. So everyone's a bit confused. So he elaborated by going, the wide-ranging potential timelines for Estêvão's recovery is due to the treatment path the parties determine. Sources say Estêvão prefers a conservative approach, allowing him to get back on grass within 30 days and try to make the Brazil World Cup squad. This would avoid surgery, at least before the tournament this summer. Surgery immediately would mean automatically missing the World Cup. Further testing and conversation needed before a final decision is made. So there hasn't been a final decision made. But this is where I go with this Estêvão situation, because we knew straight away, if he does take the surgery, right, that he's going to be out. We've seen this I'm pretty sure we've seen this with Fofana. We've seen this with Reece James. Sometimes surgery is the only thing that you can do. Get yourself back on track, get back to top fitness, and then slowly get back into the games. We saw that last season. You integrate these players, you give them more minutes, you get to see a little bit more from them. We've recently been seeing it a bit more from Lavia as well. But this whole rushing players back and hoping that they can do a job is dangerous. Because Estêvão, this is the thing, he's literally still at the beginning of his career. He literally just joined Chelsea last summer, played in the Palmeiras, in the Club World Cup for Palmeiras, joined us, played games here and there. He was being managed by Maresca and the team. I don't know exactly all the individuals, but we're giving it to the manager. We'll see if anyone else. But he was being managed. He wasn't playing every game. He wasn't constantly there. He was just being brought on, and he had effects here and there. And I know that all the fans were asking constantly to see Estêvão play. And that's also due to the wingers, our starting wingers being rubbish in terms of, you know, a Neto or Garnacho and all that. They're all rubbish. So in reality, people want to see the best out of the, you know what I'm saying, the best out of the ones you have. So everyone's been asking for Estêvão to play. And the minute he started to play more consistently is when we also started seeing him get a few hamstring injuries. I think this is the second one now. He had one, the uncomfortable thing. He stayed away for a while, and now he's got another one again. So I think, but this one, it's not looking good with this one, because the reports that we keep hearing is that essentially he's torn his whole hamstring off the bone. Which exact place is a different. You can have it higher on, like, it depends where exactly, because the hamstring runs down, innit? So, so this person here released this, and this is kind of where a lot of people are going with this as well. If he suffered a grade 4 hamstring injury, right? This likely refers to a complete rupture of the hamstring muscle and tearing of the fibers, causing significant pain and swelling. Because if you decide, if, like Ben Jacobs said in that tweet, if he said, if Estêvão decides to go with the conservative management, some high-grade hamstring strains heal with rest, rehabilitation and strengthening exercises. This process typically takes 10 to 12 weeks. The issue with going the conservative way is you can do the 10 to 12 weeks, and if you aren't back to normal, you will have to take the surgical intervention anyway, which is the next step. So some full hamstring ruptures need surgery and can see a recovery timeline of 3 to 5 months. And also depends on recovery. Everyone's different. Everyone's body reacts differently. The only issue with surgery as well is that if you get the surgery done and it's not successful, you're back at step 1 again. You know, and that's the issues and the danger that comes with surgery. So if everything goes well and recovery is one of the most important things, we've seen it with the Eden Hazard injury, even though that wasn't necessarily a hamstring injury. If you don't recover well, sometimes you can ruin whatever it is that whatever injury you have, and it can just become long-term forever. And we know Brazilians are very, he also said they're very patriotic, and we understand that you essentially telling a Brazilian he can't go and play for his nation is crazy, but at the same time, he hasn't been picked yet. I think he kind of feels like he might be almost a shoo-in, because remember, another thing for them is that Rodrigo, I think, was out with an ACL, and I think that it probably made him think that he had a better chance to get in anyway, and I think this is why he's probably so determined. But your career, that's my thing, it's your career. I think I don't understand it, because he has like another, okay, we can't guarantee the future, but with his age right now and how much talent we believe he has probably another 3 World Cups in him, maybe 4. So if you mess up this and rush yourself back for this World Cup, you might miss the next 2 or 3 that you want to probably potentially would have played in. So I know that at the same time you want to take the opportunity of being able to go to the World Cup, because you actually never know whether you make the next one or the next one. But we're seeing a lot of these now. We're seeing a lot of these hamstring injuries now, because I literally went and checked Fabrizio Romano earlier. This kid has an ACL injury, and if I keep scrolling down, confirmed Lamine Yamal had a biceps fulminous injury to his left leg. He will take the conservative treatment plan, missed the remainder of the season, but expected to be available for the World Cup. So he's hamstring injury. Scroll down to the next one. Arda Güler's season with Real Madrid is almost over after suffering muscle injury to the bicep fulminous. Same thing. I scroll down again, and it says Eder Militao's season with Real Madrid is almost over after suffering a muscle injury in the bicep fulminous. This is 2 hamstring injuries for Real Madrid and 1 for Barcelona. And I'm not saying their name specifically because of anything to do. I'm just talking about, look at the time and how close we are getting to the World Cup. Yeah, some of these can get back, but the problem with Estêvão's injury is that it's essentially grade 4 is essentially almost a tear of the bone. Like he tore the muscle off the bone literally, and I think it didn't look that bad when you watched him. He was able to walk. He didn't look that uncomfortable, but it might still be hanging. You know what I mean? Like it might not be as gonna, and this is why warming up and all these things are very important and managing. But this is where my question comes from, right? And this is not the first hamstring injury we got since Maresca got sacked. Since Maresca got sacked and Racine came in, we had Gittins had a grade 3 or grade 2. Reece James is out, I think, with a hamstring. We had Palmer out the other day with a hamstring. And then he's apparently back for the next game. He felt something. Maybe it's not as bad as obviously the other ones, but Estêvão's been out, not the second time now. Like we've seen the little hamstring injury. I think João Pedro had a quad or thigh issue, a little bit different. But the reason I'm mentioning these is not because, anything specific. I know that part of it is probably playing a lot of games, but you need to be able to manage the way this thing runs. And we remember when Maresca said, people were saying Maresca was playing Reece James 1, maybe 2 games a week and play him a little bit there and then. We're hearing that, and the medical staff was not happy that he weren't taking off certain players. He weren't taking off certain players in certain games, especially Reece James. How are you playing Reece James more than one game? Blah, 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 blah. And you're looking at it now, or fans asking why Maresca wasn't playing Estêvão more often, and I think in that aspect, and I think even the medical stuff was getting into thinking you played the X amount more, but then we saw Racine play Reece James 4 games in a row. You saw Racine play Reece James 4 games in a row, if I'm not mistaken, and all of a sudden Reece James is out. And I think this is where, for me, we need to be careful, innit? And you got to use the squad. And this is where having a good, not necessarily, you have to have a good squad depth, but you have to have a good squad depth, but at the same time, it's the quality in the squad. And I think that's something that we're lacking right now. That is something that we're lacking right now. And I'm not necessarily that happy about it. I'm not happy about it because the fall off between an Estêvão to a Gittins, and then all the way to a Garnacho and Neto. Well, no, Neto then Garnacho. Because you see, Neto's hell is like hot. Garnacho's hell is cold, bro. Like it's like ice. It's the North Pole and it's cold. You know what I mean? He is very bad. But the point I'm making is if he's injured now, you have to play him. When Racine came in, we played Enzo Fernandez on the wing. You know what I mean? So having the squad, managing the squad well, especially with the amount of games, we've been waiting for these guys to have a break. Especially with our team, we've played so many games. Whether it's the season prior, then into the Club World Cup, whether it's the players also having a World Cup or a Euros in between, and then the Club World Cup the year after, and now they're having the World Cup now. There's no rest, which means the clubs have to make sure they have players on the bench to be able to rest those players. And this is the issues that we have. And you all of a sudden could be in a good position, winning games, and then a couple players get injured, and now you got to play the worst version of the ones you got. It's not looking good. But look, me personally, I don't want Estêvão to rush himself back for the World Cup. As selfish as it sounds, I'm not just looking at what's good for Chelsea. I'm also looking at I also want to look at Estêvão as a player, and cool. If you could potentially ruin your career with this injury, and I'm not saying that Saka has ruined his career with the hamstring injury. He didn't choose to get the hamstring injury, of course. But the point I'm making is, look at the fall off with Saka. Even though he's been overplayed, and we all agree on that, that's something that you don't want to happen to him. So that's all it is. Make sure you're liking and subscribing, and I'm out.